Welcome to Learn Easy channel. Today's topic is ionic and covalent bonds. In this topic, we are going to see how ionic and covalent bonds are formed and why they are formed, and we're going to see different types of chemical bonds. These are the atoms and they are joined together with the help of a chemical bond. Just like how you hold your friend's hand together, the atoms are joined together with the help of a chemical bond. This chemical bond is formed to attain the stability. For example, I have taken here helium. Helium element has 2 electrons. So the oneness orbital has completely filled 2 electrons. So helium element is said to be stable because it attains the duplet rule. So what is a duplet rule? The duplet rule states that an element has 2 electrons in its valence shell, then it is said to be stable. This is possible in the case of helium or hydrogen element. Okay, now we take neon as an example. Neon has 10 electrons. So the outermost valence shell has 8 electrons. This element is also said to be stable because it attains the octet rule. So what is an octet rule? An octet rule states that an element has 8 electrons in its valence shell, then it is said to be stable. Okay, can you say which element is stable here? In this one we have, in the first orbital we have 2 electrons, and in the outermost valence shell we have 4 electrons. Since we have only 4 electrons in the outermost valence shell, this is not stable because it will not attain octet rule. Whereas in this element we have 8 electrons in the valence shell. So it attains the octet rule and it is stable. Can you guess what element it is? Because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 electrons here. So it is carbon. Here we have 10 electrons totally. So this is neon. Neon with 10 electrons. Okay, next we see the types of chemical bonds. There are 3 types of chemical bonds. First one is the ionic bond, and second one is the covalent bond, and third one is the coordinate bond. Okay, ionic bond is also called as electrovalent bond. This bond is formed by transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. Here the extra electron in the valence shell will be given to the next atom so that it forms a bond. So transfer of electrons takes place in the ionic bond. Whereas in the covalent bond, it is also called as molecular bond, and this bond is formed by sharing of electrons by both the atoms. Both the atoms will share their electrons to form a covalent bond. Next we see what is a coordinate bond. Coordinate bond is also called as dative bond, and this bond is formed by sharing of electrons only from one atom and not from the other. Like one atom will share its electron, but the other atom will not share its electron. Such type of bond is called as coordinate bond. Now we see that in detail about what is an ionic bond and covalent bond in this video. Now we see in detail how ionic bond is formed. I have taken an example of sodium chloride. Sodium has 11 electrons. So the outermost valence shell has 1 electron, and in chlorine totally has 17 electrons and the outermost valence shell has 7 electrons. So chlorine needs 1 electron to attain the octet rule. At the same time, sodium will lose 1 electron to attain the octet rule. So sodium loses 1 electron and becomes cation, and chlorine atom gains 1 electron and becomes anion. They both will attract each other and forms an ionic bond. Ionic bond has strong electrostatic force of attraction. So sodium will lose 1 electron, it becomes Na plus cation, and chlorine will gain 1 electron and form Cl minus anion. So Na plus Cl minus forms NaCl. This NaCl bond will be the ionic bond. Thus ionic bond is formed by transfer of electrons. Now we see how covalent bond is formed. As we all know, covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons. So I have taken an example of hydrogen chloride. So hydrogen has one electron, whereas chlorine has totally 17 electrons. The outermost valence shell has 7 electrons. So chlorine needs one electron to attain the octet rule. At the same time, hydrogen also needs one electron to attain the duplet rule. So hydrogen and chlorine both will share one electron each. So both will attain the stability. Here hydrogen, when chlorine shares one electron to hydrogen, hydrogen will have now two electrons. At the same time, when hydrogen shares one electron, the chlorine will have now 8 electrons totally. So it will attain the octet rule. Thus both will attain both will attain stability in this case. So that thus HCl covalent bond is formed in this case. So covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons by both the atoms. Now we see the example of two hydrogen atoms. Here hydrogen atom has one electron. So it needs one more electron to attain the duplet rule. Here hydrogen has one electron. It needs one more electron to attain the duplet rule. So the both hydrogen atoms will share one electron each and thus covalent bond is formed. This covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons from each of its atom. I hope you understand this concept. If you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you. Thanks for watching.